Hey guys, how you doing? This is Steven Silver with a little art tip that I wanted to show you. This is something that when I do my online training, this is what we do, is just going through just a lot of explanation of the process, of the design process. What I like to really infuse in my class is just giving lots of tips and tricks, and not even tricks, just things that you can use to really help guide you and push you forward so that you don't always need that mentor and that teacher. And that's really what I'm trying to accomplish here throughout the course. The beautiful thing when you're looking at it online, you get to just watch the process over and over. And when you work with me directly and study with me directly one-on-one, what you get is just me drawing over all your assignments, just pointing out the things that you're working on. There's one thing when you're just watching a video like you could watch on YouTube like you are now, and you get to see the process, but there's that change in observation that happens when you have your mentor, personal mentor, that's me, going straight over your own work and helping you push you through that process and giving you just the right sort of correction. So here's just a little tip on how to really get better at doing construction with your characters and starting to truly understand that, because that's one of the things that I find missing the most in people's work, is that just basic construction. It's one of the things that when I look back at my very old work, I struggled with the most. I didn't understand it. I didn't draw through my shapes. I didn't draw through my forms. And that's so vital. And it's simply called drawing through your shapes. If you've ever heard someone say, draw through your shapes, this is what they mean, what I'm going to explain now. And this is a great exercise that you guys can do just to help you. I would encourage you, if you struggle with construction, that you do this every day. Even if you do it for 5 minutes, if you do it for 10 minutes, just you do one person, 2 people, 5 people a day, the more you do, the better. And that's the bottom line. You don't just want to do, okay, I've done my one, now I'm going to go off and forget about it. Make a habit, and that's what you do. You form the habit, and habits, they say, can take, to really be an effective habit, can take up to 30 days to really nurture. I personally believe if you do something in repetition for about 4 days in a row, you're going to all of a sudden get into the right sort of mindset and place within your work, that you're going to just start repeating that process. You're almost going to feel guilty when you're not doing it. So it's something very important to do. So you can start this habit today. So let's get moving and show you how I do this. So the first thing we have to do is now just start trying to break your character down into simply 16 parts if you can. This figure, I'm not going to be able to do it fully because we don't see his other arm, but let me just explain that. So here we have the basic head construction, so we're playing with that. So I just want to find that shape. That becomes part number 1. The next part number 2, is where the neck is. Then what we got to do, just draw through that shape. Try to understand. You may not always know where that rib cage is or understand, but I can sort of guess here, because what I need to understand is where my elbow is going to be within this character. I imagine my elbow is right there. Typically, what you're going to find in nearly all the times, unless something's, gone horribly wrong, is your elbow is going to be at the bottom of your rib cage. So now I have my elbow touching at the bottom of the rib cage, so I know my arm is there. I want to place this, and just think about the tubes and think about the shapes that your arm is going in. So now that becomes 1, 2, 3, that upper arm, number 4, the lower arm, the rib cage, number 5. And there's no specific number order. It's just I'm labeling it as I go. So now I know my arm's going in this direction, and I know that for sure because I can see what is happening right down here with that sleeve, the direction of that. Okay, I'm just going to point out. This is, again, all the sort of stuff that you'll get when you're taking the one-on-one course with me, just to get that better understanding. But here, I know that this leg, what direction that leg is turning based on what everything is doing on the bottom. See, that's turning that way. So I know that this leg is turning in that direction. I know that that shin is going in this direction. So those are the sort of indicators we want to look for. So that's number 4. The next thing that we have here, excuse me, I'm going to shut my door. I don't like editing the videos. I'm going to shut the door because the garbage men are here today. And then we got number 5, which becomes this hand. Okay, so I'm blocking in that shape. Look for the little different rhythms, the little things that are happening within the way the hands will just sit. So look for those. So that's number 5. Number 6, the next thing that I want to look for is just where that pelvis is. So I'm roughly going to draw in where that pelvis is through here. Things that you're going to find that happen in the human figure is what I've coined this term, and I call it the bow and arrow. Okay, so you have a bow and an arrow in your drawing through there. And what that bow is typically on one side of the figure, you're always going to have an arch, and then you're going to have that arrow pinch on one side. And those are important things to really try to look for. So as I'm doing this, I got 5, number 6. Okay, now I can just show in my little, what I call the sponge zone. Okay, that just becomes that little area of flesh that can, where we, our little gut, so to speak, where it's more of a sponge. We have that number 6, okay? Then we're going to get this leg in here and just sort of attach it as another tube. Just bring it through here, okay? So now we have this, and that we know that this leg is almost just coming, wrapping down this way. So that becomes number 7. Okay, number 8 becomes this area. Okay, right down to here, to his ankle. Number 9, okay, we have that foot. Number 10 is over here. Now I know that this is sort of starting to turn that way, and this is why I want to understand the construction underneath. So that becomes number 10. We know that this tube is going this way, okay, to here. Okay, that's number 11. And then we have number 12, which becomes this foot. Okay, and then we have the other arm, which is 12. Let me see, what did I skip here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, sorry, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then the other arm, you know, let's say the other arm's here, 13. Again, what I'm finding is my rib cage. I want to find a follow through there. So that becomes number 14. Okay. And then now this part of the forearm, okay, becomes number 15. And then the hand, you know, becomes number, you know, 16 through there. Typically things to always remember, if you can, just even with your hands, when you look at your hands are going to be roughly about the size of your face, from the bottom of your chin to almost where your hairline is there. That full hand, that's going to give you a real idea of what your whole hand looks like, all right? So now we're playing with just those 16 parts, and I've drawn through, and what I've tried to find is that overall construction. Now, the thing is that you just don't stop there. What you have to do is now try to recreate that. What did you just learn? It's about taking things that you've drawn and now making a realistic, productive exercise through repetition. You got to go from one phase of like understanding and learning, and now you got to go to the process of repeating that process, okay? That's the best way to learn, is going in that sort of, with that sort of mindset, not just doing this and like saying, okay, good, I did my tracing. Now what we want to do is just try to figure out what's going on. What did we just learn from that? So when I look at something like this, what I want to do again is now just try to recreate that. First thing that I want to mention too is what's important. We've just done that overall tracing, mainly just to find the forms, the direction of what we're looking for, the tubes. The next thing we want to try to find is that line of action, that sweeping shape. So now I want to mimic that. So I'm going to look for that sort of sweeping action and that shape within my character. Now what I can do is start to pull in my 16 parts, okay? So I'm almost looking, I'm referencing that, you know, you can, that's the best thing to do. Start to reference what you were just drawing. Okay, I'm still breaking up my parts. But now what I can do is start to, maybe I want to push things just a little bit more. This is where the exaggeration comes in. This is what we're trying to do. I know that is sort of sitting in a chair here, but this is what's going to bring your characters to life. And now I know that that leg's there, but what if I decide to make it just a little bit skinnier? What if I'm going to make that part just a little bit skinnier? Now I'm still playing with my 16 parts. We got this leg coming over here. Okay, we know that it's going to be overlapping through here just a little bit, and then we got the rest of the foot doing this. This arm is very relaxed. Okay, I'm thinking I've pulled my rib cage all the way down here now. So now I want to pull my elbow all the way down there because that becomes that sort of launching point. What I want to do is maybe just add just a little bit more visual interest, a little bit more storytelling into the pose. And that's the goal of using reference. Your goal for using reference is not to copy the reference. Your goal is just to let it inspire you and inspire a new idea. And by doing that, you're going to create just a lot more fun and a lot more life. You ever notice when people just copy reference, it becomes stiff? Or that may happen in your own drawing where you feel like it's just so stiff. That's because you're relying too much on the reference and not the idea of the reference. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the idea of the reference. So here's the story. Now I'm looking at this guy. My initial impression when I'm looking at this guy, I feel like this guy's just he's bored. It's just kind of got a board. He's sort of relaxed. He's waiting, for an airplane to come or something else like that. Keep in mind, I've got all my parts that I have in here. I got number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I got my 13 parts there, okay? From there, now what I can just do is, okay, now I got the energy. And this is another thing that I call this throw up. That's right, throw up. Blah, we do this throw up because throw up on your page is what you need to do. It's about keeping your drawings loose. It's about keeping them just energetic. You're not going to find an effective, good drawing if you're drawing like this, like a fax machine. If any of you guys remember what a fax machine is, where you're just sort of drawing down and you're doing this. This is not a healthy way to draw. This is a surefire way just to stiffen up your drawings completely and have no life. So your job is to find your throw up, just let it out on the paper, find that energy. You can always come back and work on your details later. All right, so now that I've done something like this, what I want to do is I'm going to, now I can just, grab and start to create any sort of different character. I'm still thinking about maybe that throw up, phase through here. But what I want to do now, I just want to make this guy feel just a little bit more bored through here. Okay, so I want to get my character. Maybe, the mouth is down there. Maybe I don't even want to give him that much of a, chin. Here I'm just throwing up on the page. I'm just trying to find an idea. I'm just trying to see. All of a sudden I'm making this guy just bold just a little bit through there. Just trying to add a little bit more interest into that character. His chin, maybe, it's coming down and now it's resting, on here. I could still get that sweater on him. If I want to, just to help guide me, I can always just look at my photo reference. Did I just do that on the same layer? No. Okay, so what I can do is through here, now I'm just looking at, I'm just observing what's going on with his reference here. I just want to see what's happening with the folds and everything. That's going to help me. But this is where observation comes into play. And you've got to learn how to observe, okay? It's very important. Learn where things fall away from the body, where things sort of hang, where bunches of things start to happen within the body. So now as I'm doing this, I'm just starting to think, well, everything's hanging down through here. Okay, and then it starts to wrap. Once again, this is the beautiful part of getting that real one-on-one information, because this is what I'm doing as I'm going back over your drawings. So you're not just watching me go over someone else's drawings, you get to watch me go over your drawings, okay? So here, now I just want to, bunch this up a bit because I saw that bunched up, giving them just a little bit more of a pooch here. I just want to relax those, fingers and the hands. I like to just create a shape within my hands and just spread out my fingers just a little bit, just to give it just a little bit more movement and life through here. And then we got this guy who's sitting. I'm going to maybe make that just a little bit flatter on the bottom because that shows visual weight. When you can put things and make them feel flatter towards the bottom, it lets you understand that gravity is pulling things down, and that's what you just want to remember, that gravity is going to pull these things down. Now we come from here, get some bunching that's going to happen, within your pants through there. You can stylize it how you like. I'm still following all my tubes underneath here. And what I'm going to do is just typically the back foot will start to rest a lot more against the legs, and you're going to have more of an opening here. And that becomes that, just that understanding of the observation. And then I can get this guy's foot. Now I'm going to get the rest of the body through here. maybe get some little bit of bunching in my little stylized way through here. I know my tubes are wrapping around this way. Notice how gravity is pulling this foot and leg back towards that direction. So that's something that we got to keep in mind. It's going to be resting flat along there. Okay, and then from here, that ankle, we can start to see, look at that break. These are observations we want to look at. Look at that break that's happening there. Look at that flow that's happening there. Once again, what do we have? Bow and arrow. Okay, so this is what we want to just maintain within our drawings. I'm going to keep that nice and smooth through there, and now I get just a nice indication of a foot very easily just by understanding that concept through there. Okay, when I look at this pose, it's really not the best pose in all honesty, just the way that his foot is so relaxed there. It's not as engaging. And these are things where maybe I can pull that leg out just a little bit further, and going back and looking over this drawing, that's the beauty of why we don't want to ever settle, why you got to keep drawing, keep building, because now what I want to sort of look at too, look at that beautiful arc that's coming, but look how I missed that arc that was there. That was an opportunity for me to get an arc into that drawing that I didn't put. So something that I would do is try to think about that arc with that foot, help me push that foot out just a little bit further, and let me just remedy my mistake here. Okay, and it's not even a mistake. I shouldn't have even said that. I said it's just a process of just trying to figure things out. So now I get that nice beautiful arc through there. Now I can pull everything like it's hanging and just get a lot better feeling and approach to my drawing. And then from there, now I can start moving the cleanup phase if that's what I want to do. But here's that breakdown of taking one pose, understanding the construction, and pushing it even further. If I want to do that, I can even, as I start to look at it more, say, well, what if I throw that head down just a little bit further through there? I can always do that. I could take things like this, and I can start to say, what if I want to just alter this and see how I can manipulate things? What if we do something like that? Look how much more that pushes the idea of the pose that this guy's really bored in the feeling. And this is the experimentation. This is what you want to do. This is what you have to do. So do this. Do not do this. You make sure you do this. You work on this. You practice this. This is how you get better at construction. The one thing that most people struggle with the most, the thing that I struggled with the most for so many years, until I realized, why don't I just draw through my forms? I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. So do it. But thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the classroom. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.